I am all around just having an amazing time with My Hero Academia as a series right now, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. Last week, as I'm also sure you all know, we left off with the tragic end of the incredibly likable villain, Twice, at the hands of the ever-popular hero, Hawks. But before picking up there immediately, we spent some time with Tokoyami as he reminisced over a past conversation he had had with Hawks during his internship. Hawks began to explain his most overt weakness to Tokoyami, whom I presume asked such a question as to better understand how to mitigate his looming difficulties by means of light, as he further questioned how Hawks goes about countering something like that. To which Hawks responded with the priority of speed, that he attacks before a villain even has the chance to use it. And this makes sense, as it lines up with his capabilities as such an incredibly swift combatant. But duly clarified that in a long-winded fight with fire involved, the likelihood of his victory is incredibly slim, especially when engaged with an especially capable foe. Now in the present, good old Fat Gum is transporting all the kids that were initially on the front lines back to the rear guard. And I'd say that with the exception of Tokoyami, all these kids are primarily area of effect inclined combatants, and it's for that reason that as the pro heroes began to close in on their assault, they wouldn't really have a need for that sort of inclusion, as they may cause difficulties for their own side otherwise. Now, there's no real argument against this from these kids, and all of them are kinda just cozy being nestled inside a Fat Gum, which sounds like some creepy fanfiction, but whatever. Despite this, Tokoyami can't keep his eyes off the battlefield. He watched as massive blue flames erupted from a window, surely remembering the events of the forest training arc. And with that, we made our way back to Hawks and Dabi, which is hard to even call a fight at this point. The wings of Hawks are almost entirely destroyed, and Dabi isn't letting up. He continues his attacks and asks Hawks, "How could you?" as his flames heated up even more. "How dare you?" as he proceeded to kick the now downed Hawks. "How dare you kill Twice like that?" And as he says this, we see the dead body of Twice laying in a pool of his own blood, which clarifies that Hawks landed a fatal blow on the primary Twice, and the clone Twice made was then forced to jump off from the balcony. This being enough damage to make holding himself together incredibly difficult, and so he perished. They both did. Now, as he was being assaulted by Dabi, Hawks looked to him and questioned if Dabi had the face of a man who just watched a friend die, as Dabi pretty much steals Shigaraki's signature look with an unsettling smile.
He copied my whole flow! Word for word, bar for bar!
Dabi responded in his typical viciously playful way by saying that Hawks was being rude, as he's currently incapable of crying on account of his tear ducts being all burnt up. He continued that with Twice in the picture, his ultimate dream had a far better chance of being realized, so the loss of such an asset was surely unfortunate. A very detached sentiment indeed. He continued this banter by sarcastically lamenting over how sad he was, as he continued to enjoy himself by stomping on Hawks with his blue flames. Hawks, who, without his wings, is effectively quirkless. And so Hawks spoke up saying that he looked into the entirety of the league, and the only two people he couldn't find any information on were Dabi and Shigaraki. And so he yet again questioned who the hell this man is. From there, we received another flashback. The Hero Public Safety Commission was at the time having a young Hawks denounce his birth name in exchange for his hero name, placing him in a special program to become the man we know of today. He was willing, so long as he could become a hero like Endeavor, a powerful hero who'd apparently saved him in the past. Now, presumably, the point of this flashback was to further illustrate the unlikelihood of someone just happening to know the name of Hawks, as well as the arguably extreme lengths to which the Public Safety Commission went to basically manufacture their ideal heroic servant, further the narrative of just how much Hawks admires Endeavor and where exactly it stems from, the fact that he was once saved by him. Now, seeing as how Hawks and Dabi look to be around the same age roughly, It's safe to assume that if the name of Hawks was not newly acquired information on Dabi's end, that it would have been obtained during his respective childhood. So take that as you will. For the sake of this video's intent, I won't get into too much speculation here. With Hawks asking Dabi who he is, Dabi finally gave him an answer. And Horikoshi, why do you do this? Horikoshi, being the tease that he is, made the damn thing an all-black speech bubble, so we have no clue what he said. I've seen people try decoding this all-black speech bubble from the leaks and such, and I don't know, for me that just seems like utter nonsense. But like, considering how long we've been strung along with this foolishness, I understand the desperation, believe me, I do. Now, upon hearing his apparent answer, the eyes of Hawks widened, and so it's safe to presume that Dabi said something of particular significance and or relevance to Hawks. And I am not about to rehash the same conversation about this man Dabi's origins. I am tired of it. Please do not make me. So anyways, Dabi goes on to say that more than twice, more than anyone, including Shigaraki and Gigantomachia, Hawks should have been keeping his eyes on him. And to that, I roll my eyes. Like, come on, dog. This man Dabi's just like an internet gangster. Like, he's here talking crazy. Let's all remember that this is the same man that couldn't handle the Iceman. This is the same man that got whooped by the Iceman. He continued on saying that he never gave a damn about the League or Shigaraki, which is some boldly treacherous shit. And he'd also say that a single person with a single conviction has the power to change the world, which I agree with. I just don't think it's him. And so he would change this world that has no true heroes, that he plans to make Stain's will a reality. And wow, I honestly thought this aspect of Dabi's character was scrapped or forgotten, because his belief in Stain's ideology was what got him through the door initially and never really came back up again. And seeing as how we had Spinner being a fanboy of Stain's, the Stain train seemed to be at full capacity. But here we are, and I'm not entirely impressed, I gotta be honest with you. I mean, Dabi really and truly thinks that he is the endgame villain, and I just need Shigaraki to sun his little ass when he wakes up, because I'd sooner ask for Mr. Compressed to be the final villain before I ask for Dabi's dry ass. I know I'm just hating at this point, but like, I'm kind of just over it. Like, we've been strung along for so long that it's just not that fascinating to me. When Dabi stepped through the door off rip initially, I was hyped. I was like, oh my god, this guy's design is crazy. What has he been through? But like, we haven't been told what he's been through so many chapters later, so many arcs later, so many other backstories later, that I'm kind of just tired of the crumbs. If we even have Shigaraki's background, where Hawks is saying, I couldn't find anything on either of you, but we know about where Shigaraki comes from, but we still don't know Dabi's, and even here, we're so close, but we're still not getting it. It's like, please, I'm starting to not care. I mean, I'm kind of past the point of not caring, but I don't know, it's just slow for Dabi over here. But at this point, Dabi is ready to deliver the killing blow on Hawks and end his life. Yet another thing he doesn't care for. From there, we see the big boy, Gigantomachia, intently awaiting the word of his new master, which transitioned us to our previous battlefield at Jakku General Hospital. Miruko is still fighting a 3-on-1 match against the high-end Nomu, and realized that her hits aren't landing anymore. And it's not because she's tired, it's because the damn things are stabilizing and only growing more and more fearsome and adaptive. She's having fun despite her major injuries, but decided to prioritize the mission. She ran off towards the doctor once more, and in the process, had a ton of her hair pulled out, an ear pierced, and I know that this sounds like just a teenage phase, but it's not, because her side got ripped into and her leg got cut, but she will not slow down. She told herself that if she is going to die, she'd better get the job done first, and so she, in one strong motion, leapt up to destroy the tank of Shigaraki. The ever-animated doctor gave his reaction, but before Midoko could land the hit, her leg was skewered by one of the Nomu's tendrils. She let out a massive battle cry of pain and anger and just the determination to get the job done, as something from behind the Nomu that attacked her approached. We shift back to the assault on the estate to Dabi, who's been pushed away, and Hawk's in disbelief, as none other than Tokoyami joins the fight yelling his name, as Dark Shadow placed the cloak of Tokoyami on him. And from the hospital scene, Endeavor is here and slammed right into the Nomu's noggin, as Midoko's leg remains inches away from the pod of Shigaraki. And that, my friends, is the chapter. Guys, I am so excited to see what comes next. If you've seen our Quirk Evolution series on him, you know Tokoyami is the boy, one of the few 1A class members who I'd say actually has a place in a fight like this. The fact that he's getting another major moment in this arc makes me really happy, and I hope he beats the brakes off of Dabi, even though the likelihood of that is incredibly slim. Now, something we talked about in a previous video was the fact that the heroes are kind of busting the villain's ass here. Like, the villains are just taking L on L on L, whereas the heroes are, for the most part, okay. I mean, Midoko lost an arm and such and is getting beaten and bloody and such, but all in all, their losses are minimal in comparison to what's happening to the villains. Their entire plan is collapsing before them. And so for me, to see these heroes getting bailed out again, it's a little strange. Once again, it goes to the equity of the situation, but we'll see what happens from here, because remember, this is only the first phase of the war. This is only the beginning, because Shigaraki is still dormant, and you know when he pulls up, he is going to pull skulls from people's faces, man. Now, because Tokoyami managed to actually save Hawks, that actually gives us some hope in the fact that we might actually get to know who Dabi actually is. I don't know if Hawks is in a fatal position just yet, or if he'll be able to make it past this if he's healed up and what have you, but we'll have to see. Now, in regards to the Jakku General Hospital, I don't know. To see Endeavor pull up here, that means that they got through that first layer of defense, they got through all those Nomu, and there are a lot of heroes that were getting through those guys. So for him to be here, is he alone? Did he just charge ahead by himself? Because I know Midoko, it doesn't seem as though she gave him an alert to pull up and save her. She doesn't even seem like that sort of character. So it's very interesting to see Endeavor of all people pull up here. I thought that Crust would be here by now. I mean, that guy got stopped by the fat high-end Nomu. But to think that he just hasn't gotten here entirely and Endeavor just swept through and got through is kind of crazy. Now, I don't know, maybe Horikoshi is just that much of a genius, or his editorial department is that genius to the point where they lined up Endeavor's appearance here with the end of the anime where he's busting ass too against another high-end Nomu. I don't know, it's lining up very nicely. It's kind of cool. It's very cool. Endeavor is looking saucy here. But once again, the heroes are kind of taking a few too many W's in relation to the L's that the villains have procured thus far. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the chapter as much as I did and are just as excited to see what comes next. If you enjoyed our coverage of it, if you enjoyed the video, then I suggest that you stick around, because we're gonna keep doing this every single week, because my hero right now does not miss. So hopefully you don't miss out, because when it comes to bringing you some of the best My Hero Academia content on the platform, Plot Armor has you covered. As always, I am Slice of Otaku. Thank you all so much for watching, and have an awesome day. I love you.